Coralville City Council to order, please. April 10th, 2018, with roll call. Start with roll call.
Councilmember Foster.
Here.
Gross.
Here.
Gill. Present. Dodds.
Present.
Goodrich.
Here.
All council members are present, as is the mayor and city clerk, city administrator, city attorney, and several staff members in the audience. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gill, seconded by Goodrich. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved. Item 4 is citizen comments. This is the time for anyone in the audience that would like to speak to us tonight about an item that's not already on the agenda. If you'd like to, please step forward and sign in and speak to us. Seeing no movement, we'll move on then. We have 3 proclamations tonight, 3 very excellent proclamations. That's a hard word to say. Well, I'll just take them in the order that they're listed on the agenda. And the first one has to do with National Library Week. City of Coralville proclamation. Whereas libraries are not just about what they have for people, but what they do for and with people. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. And whereas librarians are leaders in their institutions and organizations, in their communities, in the nations, and in the world. And whereas librarians continue to lead the way in leveling the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. And where libraries and librarians look beyond traditional roles and provide transformative opportunities for education, employment, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and engagement, as well as new services that connect closely with the patron's needs. And whereas libraries and librarians lead their communities in innovation, providing STEAM programming, maker spaces, access and training for new technologies, job-seeking resources, and the power of reading. And whereas libraries are pioneers supporting democracy and affecting social change, with a commitment to providing equitable access to information for all library users regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries lead in working with diverse communities, including the people of color, immigrants, and people with disabilities, offering services and educational resources that transform communities, open minds, and promise inclusion and diversity. And whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore, let it be resolved that I, John A. Lundell, Mayor of the City of Coralville, proclaim April 8th to the 14th, 2018 as National Library Week. Further, I encourage all residents to visit the library this week and explore what's new at your library and engage your librarian. Because of you and our library leaders, libraries transform. Signed this 10th day of April, 2018, John A. Lundell, Mayor. Well, we have both the library director and the president of the library board in the audience. One or both of you should come up and receive this and say a few words, please. Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Lundell.
Yep. Please say a few words.
Yeah, just
At
like
the
to
microphone.
go to the mic.
Yep. Introduce yourself.
I haven't been here for a while. So.
Okay.
My name is Shaner Magalhães. I'm the current president of the Coralville Library Board of Trustees, and Allison Gallstad is here as well, library director. Just 3 things I want to say real briefly. Number 1, I think every week should be Library Week. I mean, it is for me anyway, so I'm a little biased. Number 2, for those of you that haven't been to the library recently or in the last year or something like that, it's unbelievable the resource that we have here in Coralville. Even as a board member, I swear, every month I learn something new that's going on at the library that I wasn't aware of. I mean, there's just incredible amounts of things happening there, and it's just wonderful. So by all means, visit there. Lastly, these things exist, well, first because of the fine support that we have from the city council, but the amazing direction by Ms. Gallstad here and her staff. Every month, we're fortunate to have a staff member come and present to us what their job is all about, and we go away from those meetings just thinking, wow, these are incredible people that we have working here at the library, and they're long-term staff people that obviously value that job and are very good at what they do, and so they stay. So we're thrice blessed, if thrice is a word. I'm not sure, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Shaner. I echo all your comments. Second proclamation has to do with the Earth Day. Whereas the global community now faces extraordinary challenges such as global health issues, food and water shortages, and economic struggles. And whereas all people, regardless of race, gender, income, or geography, have a moral right to a healthy, sustainable environment with economic growth. And whereas it is understood that the citizens of the global community must step forward and take action to create a green economy to combat the aforementioned global challenges. Whereas a green economy can be achieved on the individual level through educational efforts, public policy, and consumer activism campaigns. And whereas it is necessary to broaden and diversify this global movement to achieve maximum success. And whereas Earth Day is the beginning of a new year for environmental stewardship commitments to implement sustainable efforts and commit to Earth Day resolutions. And furthermore, let it be known that the City of Coralville hereby encourages its residents, businesses, and institutions to use Earth Day to celebrate the Earth and commit to building a sustainable and green economy. Now therefore, I, John A. Lundell, Mayor of the City of Coralville, proclaim April 22nd, 2018 as Earth Day in the City of Coralville. I urge all citizens to support green economy initiatives in the City of Coralville and encourage others to undertake similar actions. Signed this 10th day of April, John A. Lundell, Mayor. I believe we have both Alex and Sherry from the Parks and Rec Department. So, Alex, are you going to receive it, please?
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Bumeyer, Park Superintendent. Mayor and Council, thank you very much for honoring Earth Day with this proclamation. Observing and acknowledging Earth Day is vital to the fabric of our community. We can celebrate Coralville's place on this earth and strive to better the environment through all our public service initiatives. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff for all their hard work in maintaining Coralville's parks and green spaces. We have a very dedicated and hardworking staff, and I just want to acknowledge that. Some of the Earth Day projects we have planned for the spring include April 13th, we'll be supporting the Kirkwood Elementary School Outdoor Classroom Restoration Project. Kirkwood sixth graders will work to restore the outdoor classroom on the west side of the property by removing invasive honeysuckle and other undergrowth. Park staff will be on site to chip the material. And then on May 10th, we'll be hosting the Best Day Ever again for the Northwest Junior High 7th graders. We'll work on invasive species removal and planting trees at the new Altmar Family Park. We also recently awarded a $5,000 grant from the DNR to help fund the purchase of the trees for this project, so we're really excited about that. Again, thank you for the proclamation. We look forward to celebrating these upcoming Earth Day projects and many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. To you and your colleagues both. Okay, last but certainly not least, it's a proclamation regarding Hunger Awareness Month. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of grave concern in the United States, state of Iowa, and in the city of Coralville. Whereas 1 in every 8 Coralville adults is food insecure. And whereas 1 in every 5 Coralville children live in food insecure households. And whereas this community continues to work towards developing hunger relief resources and capacity to meet the needs of the children, youth, and families who are hungry in our community. And whereas the Coralville City Council is committed to taking steps to raise awareness about the need to combat hunger in every part of our community and to provide additional resources that citizens of Coralville need. Now therefore, I, John A. Lundell, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of Coralville, do hereby proclaim April 2018 to be Hunger Awareness Month in Coralville and urge all citizens to support the Coralville Community Food Pantry, the individuals and families they serve, and the volunteers who care for them. Signed this 10th day of April 2018, John A. Lundell, Mayor. We have, I think, just about the entire board of directors for the food pantry here, as well as the director, John Bowlers. So, John, would you like to come up and receive it and say a few words? Thank you.
Okay, so John Bowler, Director of the Coralville Community Food Pantry. And so on behalf of the Coralville Community Food Pantry, its staff, its board of directors, its volunteers, and of course its members too, I wish to extend my deepest gratitude to Mayor Lundell, the City Council, and city staff for your continued support for the work we're doing and to your commitment to making food security a priority. All of our neighbors deserve access to life's most basic rudiment, which is food, and I know we all agree that is true. The Coralville Food Pantry exists to ensure that every child and adult living in Coralville gets the food that they need to thrive. Unfortunately, solving hunger will be an uphill battle. After all, hunger is merely a symptom of poverty. But together, we believe that we can find ways to make meaningful progress in this fight against hunger, whether it involves providing free weekly groceries, offering a nutritious and nourishing community meal, making sure kids have food during school breaks, and providing free seeds to families who wish to grow their own fruits and vegetables. We believe we can work together collectively to reduce suffering and improve quality of life for all Coralville residents. So one simple way for community members to get involved with the work that we're doing is to provide their time or their resources. So if you have a few extra hours, you can volunteer at the food pantry, lots of different ways to get involved. If you have some extra financial resources, you can make a contribution to the food pantry. And for every $1 donated to the pantry, that becomes $5 worth of vital food for the families we serve. We, of course, hope to see many of our neighbors on Friday, April 27th at Northridge Pavilion for our annual Music for Meals benefit concert, which will be a good time. A lot of great music, good food, good company, so please join us there. Tickets can be purchased online, coralvillefoodpantry.org. But again, just on behalf of the food pantry, I wish to very much thank you all, Coralville City Council, for the continued support. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, yeah, everyone is welcome to stay as long as you'd like. So. Item 6, excuse me, item 6 is Iowa River Landing retail lease. And this starts with a public hearing on alternative proposals and intent to dispose of an interest in real property for leasing an approximate 1,441 square foot portion of Unit B in the Landing condominiums to CNCT LLC. I will open the public hearing. Are there any comments regarding this project? Any written?
No written.
Okay, seeing and hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the disposition of property and approving a lease agreement with CNCT LLC, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gill. Discussion? For the public, do you want to mention what CNCT is?
This is it's Evolve, which is a nutritious meals place. So obviously that name doesn't really say a lot. And it is located in Building C, even though it says it is Unit B of that condominium. So it's by the salon and the Louise Wine Dive, that area of the Building C there. So they will be opening soon, I believe. So
They serve food on site as well as for carry out.
I think it's mostly
minimal food. It's mostly
carry out.
Carry out.
Yep.
Ingredients and so forth.
Yep.
Thank you. Roll call.
Gross. Aye. Gill. Aye. Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item 7 is urban renewal plan amendments. First item is consultation report.
I did send out the proposed amendments to both school districts and the county board of supervisors. I did not receive any comments, and nor did anybody attend the consultation here at City Hall.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing now on the proposed amendments to the Mall and Highway 6 urban renewal plan. This is an amendment that basically merges the last 5 amendments into one document. No property was added to this renewal area, and only a few projects were added. So with that, I'll open the public hearing. Are there any comments? Written?
No written.
Okay. Seeing and hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the amended and restated urban renewal plan for the Mall and Highway 6 urban renewal area, amendment number 9, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Dodds. Discussion? Roll call.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 8 is a couple items under item 8 regarding the Iowa Arena and Sports Performance Center, regarding transferring of property for that development. Item A is a public hearing on the disposition of property in the mall and Highway 6 urban renewal area for the development of a hotel in the Iowa River Landing to Ride LLC. So with that, I'll open the public hearing. Any comments? Written?
No written.
Okay. Close the public hearing, consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the disposition of certain development property for the development of a multi-use building containing a hotel and retail office and other commercial space, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion?
Yeah, on both this item and then the next item, we will have development agreements coming back at a future meeting that will outline all the specifics of our agreements with the individuals. And just for people's interest, Ride LLC is the same owner as owns the Homewood Suites in the Iowa River Landing.
Okay. Any other questions or comments by council? Roll call.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Next item is similar. It's a public hearing on disposition of property, and in this time, instead of the Ride LLC, it's to the Arena Co. Corporation. So I will open the public hearing. Are there any comments? Any written?
No written.
Okay, I will close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution authorizing the advance ordering of steel necessary for the Iowa Arena and Sports Performance Center is introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich.
Second.
Seconded by Gill.
This one first.
We did that. Oh, I thought we had it. Before we vote on it, I should correct. It's the resolution approving the disposition of certain development property for the development of a multi-use arena complex is introduced for adoption by Councilmember Dodd, seconded by.
Second.
Oh, okay. Foster.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
This time it's Foster. We'll get you back in it. Any discussion?
The Arena Co. is a community development corporation that has been formed for this express purposes of owning and operating the facility. That was, Arena Co. was developed because of the requirements of our new market tax credit allocation that requires a separate nonprofit entity to own the facility, at least for the first 7 years. And that will all be reflected in the development agreement that you will be asked to approve at a later date.
Thank you. Anything else? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Last item under this one is consider resolution authorizing the advance ordering of steel necessary for the Iowa Arena project. This is authorized the purchase of steel in order to lock in the price in anticipation of price escalation due to the newly levied tariffs on steel products. Don?
Resolution authorizing the advance ordering of steel necessary for the Iowa Arena and Sports Performance Center. Second introduction by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Dodds. Discussion.
I had an interesting comment today. Someone made the comment is, why don't you just buy U.S. steel and then you wouldn't have to worry about the tariffs? And the price escalation really has nothing to do on where the location of the steel is that's coming here. In fact, I know at least half of the product is U.S. made, but it's the demand that's created, whether the steel is coming from the U.S. or from outside the U.S. that's affecting this price. And the other interesting part of this is that the tariffs haven't even been implemented yet.
Right, it's talk.
And it's all discussion, but the price continues to escalate while that discussion goes on. So I would just encourage people to look a little bit more into it. It doesn't really have anything, the prices of this and prices of other products, including Iowa agricultural products, have nothing to do with where they're coming from. It's all the discussion and the economics of a world economy.
Yeah, I think the way it's written here kind of leads people to think that it's because of the tariff itself is why the price might be going up, which is why we're locking in now.
Yeah.
I just taught this in a lesson today, so on trade wars.
But we're losing sight of the important fact that the arena will be built. And we've had 3, 4, 5 years, many years of working to this, and it's going to come to fruition. So congratulations, Kelly and the staff. It was a lot of hard work, and it's going to go up. Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross. Aye. Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Resolution passes, all ayes. Item 9 is fiscal year 2019 Iowa Department of Transportation Consolidated Transit Funding Grant Application. This is the annual application by the Coralville Transit System and City of Coralville for operating and capital funding from the state and federal governments. I'll begin by opening a public hearing on this application. Are there any comments? Any written?
No written.
Okay. I will close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Iowa Department of Transportation for fiscal year 2019 Iowa DOT State Transit Assistance and Federal Transit Administration funding, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second?
Seconded by Gross. Discussion? I'll just add that I didn't mention this, and I should have included, is not only the Coralville Transit System, but also our contract we have with Johnson County for seat service, for service to our elderly and disabled populations. Roll call?
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution passes, all ayes. Item 10 is Bridgewater Part 4, and we'll begin with the Building Department report from Jim Kessler, our building official.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. Bridgewater subdivision final plat for Part 4 is what I have on the screen before you. It consists of 4 building lots, lots 61, 62, and 63. 2 outlots, Outlot F, which is a location of the pond that's already on the property that will be part of the subdivision. And this small Outlot E down here is actually reserved for a ventilation shaft for underground mining that may now, for all I know, or in the future, take place underneath this area. And as they build their tunnels underneath here, they have to have ventilation shafts in them as well. So that's reserved for a ventilation shaft. And that's been in place for quite some time. So it isn't new to this development. It's been there for quite some time. So lot 61 is a lot that will have 11 fourplexes on it. And let me show you a picture here that might explain this a little better for you. This is kind of a colored drawing that shows you the different parts of Bridgewater, and I can go through that later. But so we're looking at lot 61 here, which has 11 townhome lots on it and 2 36-unit townhomes on it. That's how 61 will be developed. The 2 36s parallel the interstate and actually back up to the interstate. Lot 62 will have 4 fourplexes and 1 3-plex townhome on it, which is in this area in here, lot 62. This area right here. And then lot 63, pay no attention to the 4 little squares on here, they're placeholders. Well, now is proposed in the future to be developed with 3 multi-level, multifamily buildings. So that's the Part 4 that we're looking at tonight, the final plat for that. It was on P&Z agenda at the last meeting and recommended for approval by the council by a 6-0 vote.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Item C is considered a resolution approving this final plat for this project.
Resolution approving the final plat for Bridgewater Part 4, Coralville, Iowa, is introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion. Jim, are these projects consistent with what they brought in their preliminary plat and back some months ago?
Yes, it is, yeah. This is part of the PUDA site plan that we've looked at.
PUD, yeah.
It
Okay.
hasn't, the only thing that's changed a little bit is the development that'll someday happen on lot 63.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item 11 is Ridgeview, parts 1 through 3. This is the second consideration of an ordinance that will rezone 103.37 acres of land in the West Land Use District, west of the Coral Crossing development.
Ordinance number 2018-1003, an ordinance amending the previously amended rezoning certain property located with the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as Ridgeview Parts 1 through 3 from R3 General Residential District to RPUD 1 Residential Planned Unit Development District 1 District, is introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Dodds. Discussion? Roll call.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its second consideration, all ayes. Item 12 is also second consideration of an ordinance for two parcels to be added to Coral Crossing Parts 6 and 7. This is to continue the Spring Rose Circle west with Spring Rose Drive to tee off to the north and intersect with Jones Boulevard. Very closely related to the previous project. Don?
Ordinance number 2018-1004, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 664, as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as two parcels to be added to the Coral Crossing Parts 6 and 7 from R3 General Residential District and I2 Light Industrial District to RPUD 1 Residential Planned Unit Development 1 District. Introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Dodds, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its second consideration, all ayes. Item 13 is our annual Sidewalk project, 2017. This year it's Zone 3. Do we have 4 or 5 zones? 5. Okay.
Yep.
For the public's sake, yeah, we have the communities divided into 5 different zones, and we take a different zone each year to focus on to improved sidewalks that are in need of repair or installation. So the first item is a public hearing on the plans, specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract for this Zone 3, which I'll mention is the area north of Interstate 80, east of Interstate 380, south of Forever Green Road, and west of the Crandick Railroad. So the northwest corner of the community is how I describe it. I will open the public hearing. Are there any comments on the plans and specs for this? Any written? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. The resolution, Don?
Resolution approving the plans and specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract all for the Sidewalk Project 2017 Zone 3. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Foster. Discussion. Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Resolution passes, all ayes. Item C is the bid report on this project.
That'll be me. The engineer's estimate on this project was $58,410. Since it was over $50,000, this had to be a publicly bid project. Unlike some years, the sidewalks project is not that high. We received one bid from JDM Concrete of Solon in the amount of $45,102.75. So the engineering department would recommend approval of JDM Concrete in the bid amount of $45,102.75. And JDM has done some of these projects for us in the past, so we have worked with them, and they've done a good job in the past for us.
Good. Thank you, Kevin. Item D is a resolution accepting this bid and awarding the contract to this company.
Resolution accepting bids and awarding the construction contract for the Sidewalk Project 2017 of Zone 3. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gill. Discussion. Roll call.
Gross. Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution is passed, all ayes. And lastly, resolution for the same project to approve the contract and bond documents.
Resolution approving the contract and bond documents for the Sidewalk Project 2017 Zone 3. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Dodds. Discussion? Roll call.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item 14, wastewater treatment plant improvements 2017, public hearing. Item A is a bid report. Scott,
Dave's Scheckinger from Veenster and Kim is going to give the report.
Okay, very good.
Scott is not speaking very well right now.
Oh, okay.
I think there may have been an error on there. We had done the public hearing previously.
As I was reading that, I kind of realized I don't think it's a real public hearing.
Correct. We received bids on this project last Wednesday and did receive 3 bids. Since it was relatively close to the council meeting, we did not get that in the packet, but you have the bid summary there that was written down during the bid letting. We received 3 bids. The low bid was Myron Construction out of Cedar Rapids. They were at $32,330,000. The second low was Williams Brothers Construction out of Peoria, Illinois at $32,920,000. And the third bidder was Tricon out of Cedar Rapids at $34,060,000. Our estimate on this was $30,098,000. So they are above the engineer's estimate. We had quite a bit of interest. We extended the bid date on this. We held 2 pre-bid meetings, and all 3 of those bids came back pretty close together, as you can see there, which indicates that it's the bids that we received were reflective of the cost of the project, slightly above what we had estimated. And there are a number of items that could lead to that, as we had just discussed previously, from the economy influences relatively recently. We had heard from the bidders that steel prices, particularly the American iron and steel products, they're a little more expensive, harder to get the certifications on that. But certainly those costs were going up, and we were hearing that. Just looking at the length of this project, we're looking at about 30 months for construction. If you put one more person on this for 30 months, you're at $500,000 cost just on that project manager, things like that. You know, there are a number of things that could influence this. We have a large stockpile of material that has to be moved that we've accumulated over the years. If we can use that on site, that saves us a lot of money. There's some uncertainty with that. We have a reason, just from looking at it, to believe that we have to take most of that off. We're using what's deemed as Davis-Bacon wages. That's higher than what we'd normally see. So when you look at moving that amount of material, if we can save some of it on site and use it, that's a pretty significant savings. If you have to take it all off site, that adds up in a hurry. So there are a number of things, and I guess where I'm going with this is when we talked with the contractors, there wasn't one item that if we would have changed that or left it out would be significant savings. And in looking at the project, we really have the basic components on here. We have to put in a new headworks building. We have a new treatment system that consists of aeration basin, clarifier, and ultraviolet disinfection. The existing system that's there is just about ready to fall apart. They can't find pieces for it anymore. The controls that are there are in very poor condition, and we've been told several times that they really need to get that replaced. So in looking at this, there isn't really anything that we could easily carve out that would get us back to that estimate. We really need to do what's included in here, and there's nothing on the agenda that says we have to take action, but I just wanted to at least present to you the status of the project, the bids that we received, and give you an overview of our discussion with the contractor, that there wasn't really anything that they could point to that was overly expensive, that they could see a different way of doing it that would cut that money back. So that's the report that I have. Are there any questions on this project?
Any questions? Probably in 2 weeks will we award the contract then?
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for the report.
Well, thanks, Dave. Thank you.
Item 15 is parking regulations. This is second consideration of an ordinance that sets 4-hour parking limits in certain parking facilities.
Ordinance number 2018-1005, amending Chapter 6-9 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coralville, 2011, as previously amended, regarding parking regulations, is introduced for adoption. Second consideration by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Gross. Discussion? Roll call.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Kill.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance passes as second consideration, all ayes. Item 16 is wireless facilities siting. This is, I consider a motion amending ordinance number 2018-1006.
So moved.
Moved by Gill, seconded by
Second.
Goodrich.
If you remember last time, there was a letter submitted, and I discussed this, looked at it longer. So we are going to allow 90 days to move the equipment, or if it's not used anymore, 90 days to take it off. They had also brought up a item about costs that can be incurred and passed on to the applicant, and it was meant to be that we could only charge what state law was, but so I just verified that in the ordinance, that it was what is allowed by state law. So the two ordinance or changes are underlined in your packet. So those are the two changes that would be made, and I'd recommend approval of the amendment and then second reading.
Okay, any comments on the amendment, the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Now I'd consider the second consideration of the ordinance.
Ordinance number 2018-1006, amending the Chapter 161 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coralville, 2011, as previously amended regarding wireless siting regulations for the city. Introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Dodds, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gross. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance passes at second consideration, all ayes. Item 17 is stormwater rates and fees. This is an ordinance that amends our Code of Ordinances addressing some stormwater fee increases that we passed during our most recent budget hearing.
Ordinance number 2018-1007, amending Chapter 102 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coralville, 2011, as previously amended regarding stormwater rates. Ordinance introduced for adoption, first consideration by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Foster. Discussion.
Yes, just remind, this ordinance will go into effect on July 1st. It won't go into effect after the third reading.
Okay. Thank you. Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its first consideration, all ayes. Item 18 is a contract amendment with the Iowa Department of the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and this changes the dates for our contract with them for state support of our arena project and surrounding properties. It changes the date from December 31st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018.
Resolution approving a contract amendment to contract 16-RD-001 with the Iowa Economic Development Authority, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passes, all ayes. Item 19 is the Workforce Housing Tax Credit. This is a resolution in support of an application of Carefree Limited for funding via the Workforce Housing Tax Credit Program and pledging city monies for the same. This is for, I believe it's the Watts project, is that correct?
Yes, this is
Yep.
the former Car Wash Now project. Yep.
At 570 First Avenue, which will have 33 residential units. Don?
Resolution of support of the application of Carefree Limited for funding via the Workforce Housing Tax Credit Program and pledging city monies for the same, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gill. Discussion? Roll call.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution passes, all ayes. Second resolution, a similar purpose, and this one's for the application of Riverview Plaza Partners LLC for funding through this program for a 46 residential unit building at Riverview Plaza Phase 3 on First Avenue.
Resolution of support of the application of Riverview Plaza Partners LLC for funding the Workforce Housing Tax Credit Program and pledging city monies for the same, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion? Roll call.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes, all ayes. Item 20 is rebate agreement. This is a resolution setting a date of a public hearing, which will be on April 24th, 2018, for a rebate agreement with Civco in the amount of $100,000 over 5 years.
Resolution setting a date for the public hearing on a rebate agreement with Civco, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Dodds, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item 21 is the Iowa River Landing Sanitary Sewer and Roadway Grading Project 2017. This is a supplemental agreement for additional survey services that are needed related to the Latitude development.
Resolution approving supplemental agreement number 4 to HR Green Inc. for the Iowa River Landing Sanitary Sewer and Roadway Grading Project 2017, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Dodds. Discussion? Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
The resolution passes, all ayes. I consider a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented or amended.
Move to approve the consent calendar, items A through double D inclusive.
Moved by Gill, seconded by
Second.
Goodrich. Any discussion? Roll call.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
The consent calendar is approved as presented. Item 23 is the city engineer road reconstruction report. And Assistant City Engineer Scott Larson is going to try and give that tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'll be brief. My voice is not holding out too well today. Thanks to Kevin and Dave for helping with the earlier items. So yeah, I'll keep my comments brief and then feel free to ask questions. So at last week's First Avenue job meeting, we were saying that coming into this week, the middle of this week with improving temperatures, that we would start to see the temporary pavement go down along the east side of First Avenue. A lot of it's formed up, but we haven't seen that temporary pavement going down yet. However, the temperatures obviously in the next couple of days are excellent, and so we do still fully expect to see concrete going down this week. The other big piece of First Avenue that we continually get asked about is, when is that 6th Street closure going to happen? Because that changes a lot of things: school bus routes, transit routes, access to Central Elementary, etc. Right now, we don't think it'll begin until at the earliest April 30th. So it's about 2 weeks further down the road than initially expected due to the recent snowfall and rain events. So, but again, the big thing we want to see done this week is some of that temporary pavement going down. On Coral Ridge Avenue, at the job meeting last Thursday, the work scheduled for this week was to pour the southeast and southwest corners of the Oakdale Boulevard intersection. They poured a portion of the southeast corner today, and tomorrow they're going to finish the southeast corner and do a sidewalk connection at Cross Park Road. And then also possibly tomorrow, and hopefully definitely on Thursday, they should be doing a large portion of the southwest corner of the Oakdale Boulevard intersection. So we'll see pavement going down out there. The the traffic signal contractor has completed moving the video detection cameras off of the previous traffic signals that we had out there. Those are now on the temporary signals at Coral Ridge Avenue and Oakdale Boulevard. And they began the process of removing more of those existing signals to make way for widening and then ultimately, obviously, the new permanent signals being installed eventually. Not sure I have. And there is water main work continuing up on Forever Green Road, on westbound Forever Green Road, approaching Coral Ridge Avenue. That lane remains closed for storm sewer and water main relocation, and that's in preparation for paving a dedicated right turn lane. And again, the big question on that project is, when does the big detour start? When we close a portion of Coral Ridge Avenue and detour using Cross Park Road. And we are still looking at that early to mid-May timeframe. But we are, that's something we are evaluating daily and get updated from the contractor on a weekly basis with schedule changes, et cetera. So I think that's all I have on those two, if there's any questions.
Could you just remind the public and the listeners on the Thursday meetings, what time they are and where they're at?
Absolutely. Yeah, every week, Thursday morning at 9 a.m., we have our First Avenue job meeting here at City Hall. It's down at the building and engineering side of the building. And those meetings are open to the public. They're attended by myself, Dan Holderness, our city engineer, other city staff, the contractors involved, and also our engineering consultants. So again, First Avenue is at 9 a.m. And then at 10 a.m., we roll right into the weekly Coral Ridge Avenue meeting. So 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. every Thursday. And again, if you can't attend, we really encourage people to fire emails our way or get a message to us. We'll ask the questions for you at that meeting and get answers back to you. So
Great.
Other than that, everybody zipper merge.
Yeah, that's the talk. Be nice,
Yeah.
be nice and zipper merge.
Yeah, right.
Any other questions for Scott or staff? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hope the weather cooperates more for lots of reasons.
Absolutely.
Item 24 is City Administrator Report.
Just like to thank all the volunteers and people that participated in all the great events this last weekend. The Fourth Best Basket Auction went extremely well, and on Sunday, the library putt for the library was also held, and so lots of businesses and individuals helped make those a success. So thanks to everyone that participated.
That it? Okay. Item 25 is Mayor's Report. I echo Kelly's comments on thanks for everyone involved, the public, the businesses, and the volunteers and staff that made both those events go really well. And on Friday night, we had a great retirement event for Senator Dvorsky as well. So it was a busy weekend. Every day of the weekend had something going on in Coralville. I just wanted to mention a couple things. One is coming up before our next council meeting, and that is on Sunday, April 22nd, is the annual fire department breakfast at the main fire station here on 5th Street. So I think it's from 7 to 11 or 7 to noon, something like that. But that's Sunday, April 22nd. It's always a good feed, and it supports the fire department. The other item I want to mention is not, we will have another council meeting before this happens, but just to get people moving and getting ready. It is early May, and that means it's recycle and reuse and cleanup time in Coralville. And we're having the traditional, very popular events on Saturday, May 5th is the swap meet down here at City Hall. It's also the citywide garage sale that's people really enjoy. And also on Saturday the 5th, a little later in the morning, will be the shred day. Now, we'll have more information with the exact times, but just start thinking of what you want to bring to the swap meet and what you might want to, if you want to organize with your neighbors, a garage sale, and then what you have to shred. And then that following week after that, then the week of the 14th through the 18th is the spring cleanup week.
Yeah, those weeks are off.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
It's garage sale first.
Is the week
then
ahead.
It's the swap meet, and then,
Yep.
so if you didn't sell it, you
That's
can
it. Yep.
bring it to swap, and
Oh,
then
that's good.
So it's, that first Saturday, May 5th is the garage sale.
sell. Then the next week.
12th is the, thank
Swap,
you.
yes.
Yep, I knew that wasn't lining up with Mayor's Cleanup Week, which is that following week then. So anyway,
Yeah, they
it's
did
early
that.
May.
They did that so people could coordinate and try to, if they want to try to sell first, and then anything they have left, they're more than welcome to bring down for the swap meet.
Great. Okay, City Attorney's Report.
I couldn't help but notice there was a delay factor in the seconds to the agenda items tonight, and I assume that's because you were concerned whether I read the right item or not before you said
We
it.
were all so polite.
I have nothing else, Kevin.
Nothing.
Okay.
I did understand, Don, that Shirley's thinking about putting you out for the swap meet.
She gave up a thought of the sale.
Okay, committee and council members report. We'll start with Lori tonight.
I have nothing, thanks.
Okay,
Neither do I, thank you, Mayor.
okay, Tom?
My turn. Well, I've been out of town, but there was a lot of great events. And I followed the World Wrestling event through Josh's Twitter, and that was a great event, Josh. The only thing is we're lacking a lot of smart TVs now, aren't we? But again, congratulations, Josh and the CVB DMO for a great event. Other than that, I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Mitch?
A few things. Some have been covered, but yeah, I just want to thank Allison and Ellen for the great work on Putt-Putt. I think it's one of the most successful financial ones that they've ever had, and it was a great event. I also want to touch base. Do we have a day yet when our goal-setting sheet we'll have that?
We should have it the next meeting. Should
Okay.
be able to do that.
Okay. And then lastly, too, we don't oftentimes from this table kind of update the public on what's going on with the legislature, but there is an issue going on right now that has a lot of potential impact with all citizens with the backfill. And Kelly, is it 1.3 million is what?
A little over 1.5 million.
1.5 million. So just for people at home, back in 2013, there was a bipartisan commercial property tax bill that was passed. I think it passed like 5 people in the Democratic-controlled Senate didn't vote for it. Of those 5 were both Senators Dvorsky and Bolcom, and in the House, which was controlled by the Republicans at the time, I think only maybe 9 or 10 people didn't vote for it, but none of our Representatives Masher, Jacoby, or Lansing didn't vote for it. And one of the reasons why they didn't vote for it was because there was a promise by the legislature to provide backfill to the cities and the counties for lost revenue. And the local legislators just mentioned were a little nervous that wouldn't happen, and they turned out to be right. So I really urge people to contact their legislature and later on Governor Reynolds, because we're looking, if Coralville loses $1.5 million a year based on the Republicans' decision, that money has to come from somewhere. I mean, this is going to really be a very important issue that's going to be facing not just Coralville, but every city across the state. So I just want to make sure that constituents and citizens are aware of what's going on.
And if I could add on
Please
to
do,
that,
Mayor,
just
yeah.
a detail, in the Republican-controlled House, they're moving forward with their plan to initiate it starting this July. So that means we would have to reopen the budget that we have approved and make those reductions and then move forward. And that's a real hardship, as Mitch said, to all cities and towns across the state. So
Yeah, you'll feel 1.5 million, and that's just reality.
anything else, Mitch?
No, we'll end on that positive note.
Okay. Megan.
Well, I just want to piggyback off of what Mitch said. In addition to all of the fantastic events that we had here in Coralville this weekend, I attended a League of Cities Municipal Leadership Academy. It was a training for local elected officials, and the backfill was a very large topic of conversation during this event that I was at. I think one thing that is important to point out, to add on to what Mitch was saying, is that when that initial appropriation was made, there was no sunset. So it was a promise that our Republican lawmakers said that they would continue this backfill, and now they are going back on that promise. So I just wanted to add that. In addition, there was no sunset in place for that appropriation. So please do call your legislators, let them know that this backfill is critically important to not just our community, but a lot of the communities around the state as well. Yeah, I went to that training this weekend. In addition to the basket auction and the putt-putt, we had the Coralville Central Fun Fair. And Tom, I asked before the meeting, Tom made a lot of the games that they are still using at the Coralville Central Fun Fair. So they were built to last, Tom.
Yeah, they were built.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a good event.
Yes, it was. And my family, I have to say, my family was worn out between the fun fair and the basket auction and the putt-putt. We had a lot of fun, and I do want to say also thank you to all the volunteers and staff that make these events possible.
Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you,
that's
Megan.
it.
Lori, I believe you were at the training on Saturday as well.
Yes.
Yep, so thank you both for taking time out of your schedules to attend the Iowa League of Cities training opportunity. It's very useful and valuable. Appreciate that.
I had one question. Mitch, do you know when West Side Story's playing?
This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's a Sunday matinee. Yeah, West Side Story is being put on.
got a relative that's working it, but I don't know when she's,
Oh, and a Thursday show.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded? Moved by
Second.
Gill, seconded by Gross. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.